With the announcement that Robert Pattinson will be playing Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, in the upcoming Matt Reeves trilogy, many fans are expecting future reports to reveal new supporting characters and villains, hopefully sooner rather than later. Now, based upon previous rumors, Catwoman and the Penguin are expected to be featured villains alongside some other, as of right now, unknown villains. And the approach it's been said that Matt Reeves is taking is that the Batman, it will be a film that goes more into the noir detective elements of the character of Batman, which is pretty cool. And honestly, I gotta say, any Batman fans out there have to be pretty happy with the track record so far of just creative talent behind the character. I mean, Nolan definitely did a huge revitalization of Batman for a lot of the mainstream audience, and then obviously ever since then, you've always had either a very talented actor, a very talented director, or both behind a Batman project. So definitely really cool stuff, ideally, that we're gonna see here. And this can really pave the way for a Batman film that's focused more on the characters and less on something like an explosive fight scene or plot lines such as No Man's Land that can easily become very distracting for the viewer depending on who the director is that's behind the storyline. Films that Matt Reeves has directed more recently, such as Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War for the Planet of the Apes, really highlights his more intimate approach when he makes a movie. Now, for the series like Planet of the Apes, it could have easily become just another blockbuster, ever expanding kind of franchise, and by that I mean a franchise that's just constantly trying to make more sequels and create spin-offs for this character and that character because they want to become cash cows. And this is very similar to an approach we seem to have received with Michael Bay's Transformers franchise. But instead of going that route, Matt Reeves kept Planet of the Apes very focused on the characters while orchestrating a story that always felt very personal between the lead characters. Even with lead characters like Caesar, played by Andy Serkis and mocap, that barely really said a lot of words. It was a very body-like performance just with how everything was conveyed, which just shows how strong the writing was for that movie alongside of the performances. Now, this is what I really hope can be brought to the Batman film franchise as they reboot his character on film yet again. And by that, don't get it misconstrued. I'm not saying Batman, whether it's the Nolan version, whether it's the Affleck interpretation, I'm not saying either one of them did not have, a strong interpretation, a strong portrayal of the character. Both of those portrayals were fantastic from Bale and Ben Affleck respectively. I'm just saying that going forward, it'll be very interesting to see a more intimate detective-focused approach versus a more traditional action-adventure type superhero franchise, which a lot of times we receive nowadays. Now, with the Penguin or even Catwoman, something in me just says that neither one of them will be the main villain, at least for this movie. Maybe for a future sequel, they'll set them up over time to become the main villain, kind of maybe in the conclusion of the trilogy, but in the beginning of the trilogy, I don't think either one's going to be the main villain. And on paper, actually, I saw a lot of fans online really concerned that this will be a repeat of Tim Burton's Batman Returns, and I think that's very unlikely. We'll probably not get an exact repeat or anything really close. It's just the reuse of really interesting characters from the Batman comics. And it will be interesting to see what roles that Matt Reeves gives both characters, because considering how early we heard about the Penguin and Catwoman being featured into the film, it makes me think that Matt Reeves is outlining for the characters to have a supporting role and presence, I guess, throughout the whole trilogy. And because of this, I wonder if Penguin will be the main villain, or more likely instead a supporting character assisting Batman in some way throughout each film. Now, this could be done by adapting a version of Penguin that's still active in the criminal underground, but instead of him actively committing crimes himself, he instead has others doing his dirty work. And when usually portrayed in this type of fashion, it's common that the Penguin is now operating out of the Iceberg Lounge, which in the comics was usually a sign that Penguin is leaving the traditional life of crime, although he was still conducting legal business just behind the scenes.
Welcome to the Iceberg Lounge. I'm just finishing my supper.
And this would be a very interesting way of using the character, as maybe throughout the film trilogy, or at least throughout the first Batman film under Matt Reeves, the character will be, I guess, in a way, an informant for Batman, kind of telling him what the word on the street is, so to speak. In this way, the character can still be utilized in the film in a different way than he has been before, yet obviously not be the main villain that Batman's fighting in the film, which I think would be very complementary to the nature of making a detective Batman film, because having an informant-like character definitely is something that a lot of detective movies have, as you always need a source to help kind of get the investigation going, as when you hear one little tidbit on the streets, then you go to your informant who kind of tells you what's been stirring in the city, and usually the plot just kind of goes from there. And for a villain fitting a detective plotline theme, I think a really good main villain could be someone like Hush, Clayface, or Riddler, because all these characters have the capabilities to really complement a detective story well, especially with a character such as Hush, which obviously with him impersonating Bruce Wayne would really allow for the movie to focus not only on Batman, but also explore Bruce Wayne's character as well. But leave your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think? Who's going to be the main villain of Matt Reeves' The Batman? Are you guys excited for Matt Reeves' film? I'm obviously very excited if you couldn't tell by me talking about it. Leave your comments down below, and we'll see you guys later.